Public hearings will now be held for 3 weeks on the Life Esidimeni tragedy. Retired Chief Justice Dikgang Moseneke has just made the announcement during a media briefing on alternative dispute resolution processes for families of victims. The Health Ombudsman earlier this year revealed that over 100 psychiatric patients died after being transferred from Life Esidimeni, that facility, to other NGOs, some of them operating illegally. Well, let's go back to Wits University. This taking place at Wits University, where Chriselda Lewis is. And of course, we spoke to her earlier about commemorations, and she's now with a family member of one of the Esidimeni victims. Good afternoon. Over to you, Chriselda.
Well, thank you very much, Francis. As we indicated earlier, as we commemorate the 40th anniversary of the passing of the struggle icon Steve Biko here at Wits University in Johannesburg, this is where the Steve Biko bioethics seminar will take place, and that will be delivered by the Gauteng Health MEC, Gwen Ramagopa, who's expected to arrive here in just the next few minutes. And one of the major issues that will take center stage is the Esidimeni tragedy, as we're hearing, as you said, from the retired Deputy Chief Justice Dikgang Moseneke, that there'll now be public hearings, and as well as the responsibility. We've seen government take responsibility for the deaths of more than those 100 of those psychiatric patients, and admit that that was not the way that things were supposed to be done. Some of those who are represented here as well are family members who will give their input as well. Let's chat now to Ntate Lucas Mugwerane, who is the representative of all the families that were involved in the Esidimeni tragedy. Ntate, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. I think, first of all, your reaction to the press briefing that has just been concluded by the retired Deputy Chief Justice Dikgang Moseneke. Now public hearings into the Life Esidimeni tragedy.
Well, the public hearing is a good thing to do. The nation must know of what has happened and what is going to happen. I support that one. Yeah.
Had there been massive consultation with you as family members since this tragedy? It was, a tragedy of proportions that we've not seen in a democratic South Africa. In particular, if you speak about access to healthcare for everyone and being the most vulnerable as well. You as family members, what sense have you gotten since this tragedy took place, and perhaps the consultation that has been done with you?
Yes. Well, we as family understand, but now we must say the Gauteng government has been working together with us. And then every time we are having talks with them, the Premier at provincial level, the MEC, and the National Minister, Mr. Aaron Motsweni. We've been having talks to date around the table to reach an amicable solution regarding the alternative dispute resolution.
I want to talk about your involvement in this seminar that is taking place here today. It takes place when the country looks at one of, the struggle icons, Steve Biko, and what he stood for access, I guess, and equal treatment of black people, black consciousness. So I think it would also be ideal to look at this time to say, as families here today, what message do you have? What will you be communicating on this day when we look at the life and times of Steve Biko?
Yeah. Thanks, Chriselda. We as family members today, we are saying never and never and never again should this marathon, monastic marathon, death marathon happens, as Madiba put it. And this should be a lesson. And this is associated, of course, with the commemoration of Steve Biko 40 years ago. These are the same responsibilities and similarities. And we are saying we have never had something like this. This is more than Marikana. And we are saying to our government, this is an eye-opening. We should go back to the drawing table. We should reconstruct and have a way forward.
Are you as family members happy? I know you spoke about extensive consultation that you've had with the relevant authorities, including the health department. But to date, while there has been a disciplinary action that has been instituted against particular individuals, including in the health department, no one has been arrested for this tragedy. You as family members, do you feel that justice, the wheels of justice, are rather slow for someone to be held to account?
Indeed, justice is very much slow, as we have said way back as family members, that they should speed up this process, because Mandela said no one is above the law, and no nepotism, no favoritism. This is a government of the people, for the people, by the people. Then we are saying, from today, this government must listen to the people for a way forward. So now, what we are saying, yes, there has been these meetings with us, with the government and so on, but there are still other minor things that should be rectified as we go on.
To commemorate, just finally, Ntate Mogorane, to commemorate, what has happened in the Esidimeni tragedy as family members, what kind of support do you continue to give each other to ensure that they're not left alone while there's continuous consultation, of course, with the relevant authorities? You as family members are able to support each other.
That's a good question. As family members, we are trying to counsel ourselves. We are trying to be motivational speakers among ourselves. We are trying to get a healing that will take us to where we are now. And we are saying, as family members, according to 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 9, we fought our good fight. We finished our race, and we kept our faith today. And now this is what the government should see, that never and never again should this happen again.
Dr. Mogorane, I'm going to allow you to go inside as this seminar gets underway there, Francis. Just some of the first reaction from the families of those who perished in the Esidimeni tragedy, saying that while today we look back 40 years to the day that this struggle icon, Steve Biko, perished, they also remember their loved ones. And as the seminar takes place, as I indicated, that will be delivered by a lecture will be delivered by the Gauteng Health MEC. Health issues will take center stage, and family members are also welcoming the public hearings that will be taking place into what really happened when those more than 100 psychiatric patients were transported from Life Esidimeni to those various institutions, and are saying that never and never again should this happen again. And as we commemorate and look at the life of Steve Biko, we should certainly remind ourselves as South Africans that tragedies such as this in a democracy such as ours shouldn't certainly happen. And I think what these families are saying at the moment, while there's been a lot of consultation that has taken place with the relevant authorities and in them trying to find closure, there needs to be someone who should be held to account for the Life Esidimeni tragedy. While we've seen disciplinary action instituted against some individuals, no arrests have been made in this issue. And I think some of them will certainly raise in the seminar saying that Steve Biko is someone who stood for justice, and justice has not yet been found for the families of those who perished in the Life Esidimeni tragedy.
Thank you so much. Chriselda Lewis reporting live from Wits, speaking to one of those family members. Sporting action coming up after the break.